Welcome to another book review slash flip through here in the Black Forest. And today what I'm going to be talking about is this collection of more recent publications that I have and what I would recommend. So if you love the golden age of children's illustration, of course you know Arthur Rackham, you know hopefully Yvan Bilibin, you know Edmund Dulac. This one we'll get to here, Kai Nielsen and Walter Crane. And if you're looking to find some good references and sort of expand your collection without having to shell out massive amounts of money or get really big books, these publications from Dover are actually, are actually really good, and I would really recommend them. They put them out in fairly slim volumes. And what's nice is that they often cover very specific collections. So for instance, here we have Arthur Rackham's color illustrations for The Ring. The print quality tends to be fairly good. They have large illustrations. They have text under them. Fairly good reproductions. And they're not, again, they're not too expensive. They're really affordable. I was really happy to get this one because sort of you tend to not see these ones so much. Really good. They've got the text with them. Just a quick flip through here of what kind of quality you get, both the color and the pen and ink illustrations. So this is a really nice collection. If you have a really favorite piece of literature, or you're looking for sort of a specific publication, these are really good books to pick up. They're not expensive. I'm not sure if it says what the price is here on the back. Okay, so $14.95 in the USA, $24.95 in Canada. Of course, in Canada, this would be much more expensive. But I bought this when I was in Europe, so it was, I think it was about 10, I think they're about 10 euros-ish. And you can also get, of course, used copies. I really like this one from Yvan Bilibin, his work on Russian fairy tales. This is a really nice reference book. It's got also the text in here. So again, I would recommend these. They're not super fancy editions, but the print quality is usually pretty good. I've seen a few reviews sometimes where people have gotten copies where the quality wasn't as great. But for the most part, they're pretty good. And I would definitely say that if you're looking to just have the images on hand, just to look through or to reference, not super fancy art books, but definitely very affordable. We'll go to this one here in a sec. I also have a Kai Nielsen one, which I was really happy to find. Also really nice illustrations, really nice reproductions. And I do always like to see the text with them and a little bit of information. So this Walter Crane one is actually one of my favorites. The quality of the paper is a little bit different. It's less shiny, it's a little bit more matte, and shows all his really, really awesome work. This has also been one of my favorites for a long time. I think this was the first one that I picked up. You can see just how detailed Walter Crane's work is. And yeah, it has all the little different parts. Everything is in here. So the one that I really like, and this is one of my favorites, I'll just move these off the table, is Women Illustrators of the Golden Age. I am super happy that they put out this book. The biggest names tend to be men. So Rackham, Nielsen, Walter Crane, Edmund Dulac, Charles Robinson, blah, blah, blah. But actually, there were a lot of women working in the golden age of children's illustration. The first one that comes to mind, obviously, is Beatrix Potter, but there were a lot of others. And I really love that a collection was put out of these women. What's really interesting about the women who were working in this time is that being an illustrator of children's books was one of the few jobs that was considered appropriate for a woman to have, because you're working on something for children. It's sort of associated with motherness and femininity. And importantly, you could work at home. And so it was considered a perfectly normal, respectable job for women to have. And there were a lot of women illustrators. We've already looked at sort of the Johnstone sisters, which came a little bit later. Kate Greenway, of course, was very, very prolific. And you can see that this book provides a lot of examples of her work. Sorry, my throat's a little bit groggy here today. This is a really nice book. Again, I was really happy to find this. I was really happy to see this. Of course, here we have Beatrix Potter, who is probably the most well-known of all these women illustrators, and initially did have to publish as a man. They didn't really want her as a woman. Helen Stratton, of course, was very popular. You can see some here, some of her color and her black and white work. Elizabeth Shippen Green also did a lot of work. Was she American? Yes, she was. And she also studied at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts. A lot of these women did go to school. They did study art. And a lot of them worked alongside their husbands. A lot of them, unfortunately, had to stop working once they became mothers, and they very often didn't return to the field. I really love Smith's work, Jessie Wilcox Smith. I think, again, you can see I just love her use of black. This is very somber. It's almost a little bit like Edward Munch. A little bit more surreal. I really like to see that. Oh, I mean, of course, you see things like this illustration of sort of a girl having a tea party with a monkey, and then the contrast of work like this. I think it really shows the range that she had as an illustrator, and I really love to see that. But she could also draw very sweet scenes like this, and this is something I really appreciate. So this is really a very excellent book. I would really recommend picking this one up if you wanted to learn a little bit more about women illustrators and just appreciate them. A lot of them, unfortunately, have been overshadowed by the men, but super talented, lots of skill here. Again, I don't want to put out a super long video. This picture I see pop up in illustration groups quite a bit. Lots of really wonderful work here. This also is one of my favorite here from Ida Oathwaite. This is a really lovely illustration. This little boy riding the moon as a ship. But you could also see she was really good at working in black and white. Lots of fairies. I mean, this, of course, was the sort of work they tended to pick up. But lots of skill on display in this book, and lots of names that definitely deserve to be more remembered. Definitely a lot of women who have been overshadowed, I think, by publishers and by sort of the big names. But a lot of them, they were very successful, and they did a really, they produced a really excellent body of work. I would really love to see a similar book come out on colored artists, because there were actually quite a lot of colored artists working during this time too. And unfortunately, a lot of them sort of get pushed to the wayside, or they weren't being published by the big books. So I would love to see a similar collection put out. The time might be right for that. Again, just really, really awesome work from Dorothy Lathrop. Also very strong. I mean, I think you get the full range. I mean, this is something that you could very easily, you know, see alongside Walter Crane or a lot of other artists who work in very strong black and white. Yeah, lots of diversity of styles and types in this book. Lots of children in gardens. And here's the cover with Starrett. So yeah, I would recommend picking this book up. You can really, I feel like you can see the influence of Kai Nielsen here, definitely. Yeah, I would definitely say pick up this book if you want to open up your collection a little bit and learn some more names. This is actually the favorite one that I've got, and I'm really glad that Dover put this one out. And again, I'd love to see one come out for artists of color, because a lot of them have also really been pushed to the side. And there's something for Christmas, the night before Christmas. So I hope you enjoyed that little flip through. We'll see what I do tomorrow. I haven't decided yet. I just got some new books actually delivered to me, and I'm going to be taking some time to go through them and read them. So I hope you enjoyed this one, and we're a couple days off from Christmas. Keep yourself safe.